The Bonneville T120 is what happens when Triumph take everything that people love about the original Bonneville and just turn it up a notch, take it to another level. More power, more presence, and just enough modern tech to make it an effortless bike to live with. But with so many updated modern classics on the market fighting for a place in your garage, does the T120 still have what it takes in this day and age to secure that place? That is exactly what I want to find out today. So without further ado, I'm going to throw my leg over it and see what it's all about. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Triumph's 2026 Bonneville T120, a truly iconic machine in Triumph's lineup. For the new year, much of Triumph's Bonneville range has been changed, with Triumph giving them varying tweaks and improvements across the board. While the most extreme changes were made to the Scrambler 900, the models that saw the least changes were in fact the T100 and T120, although that may not be a bad thing. Let me start with the price. The T120 is available from £12,195 and comes in 3 colour options. The base colour with a base price is stone grey, followed by the two-tone options Aegean blue, New England white, and aluminium silver, or aluminum since I'm in America, and cranberry red. These two-toned options will set you back £500. The T120 is powered by a 1200cc liquid-cooled parallel twin motor, producing 78.9 brake horsepower at 6,550 rpm and 105 Nm of torque at 3,500 rpm. For suspension, up front we have KYB 41mm non-adjustable cartridge forks and a KYB rear suspension unit with preload adjustability. Braking is handled with a 310mm twin disc setup with Brembo 2-piston floating calipers and a single 255mm disc on the rear, along with a Nissin 2-piston floating caliper. For 2026, the revisions to the T120, and the T100 for that matter, are the inclusion of a 6-axis IMU for optimised cornering traction control and ABS, full LED lighting all round with daytime riding lights as standard, a new discrete USB-C port up top for easy access, and one area where the T120 differs from the T100 is that the T120 gets cruise control as standard, whereas it's an optional extra on the T100. The T120 has a tank capacity of 14.5 litres, a wet weight of 233 kilograms, and a seat height of 790mm. And now finally, for the bit I've been waiting for, a chance to ride it for the very first time in California. Ooh, bring it on. Right, let's get cooking with gas, thank you. Woo! Gracias! Woo! Okay, baby, so I am on the T120, not just the T120, the T120 black. But we're just going to act like I'm on a T120 because basically the black is just a styling exercise, isn't it? It's a colour option, it's a brown seat. It's a bike for people that don't like chrome, basically. Woohoo! Oh, guys, look at this. What a place to ride. Oh, absolutely beautiful. So, a few things about the T120 that's kind of important. We've got the 6-axis IMU, so we have the lean sensitive traction control and cornering ABS and all that good stuff. We also have cruise control now, that is standard. We already had the rain and road mode, which we still have. One thing that I'm mega happy with what they've done is they've kept these clocks. They've kept the analog dash, and I was so scared that they weren't going to keep it because their speed twin
the 1200 and the Speed Twin 1200 RS, they went down that more sporty looking clock option. And I understand why Triumph did that, because they see that as like their modern retro that can get out and scratch it with the best of the nakeds, you know, on the country lane, so that they're trying to make it a bit more sporty. Whereas I think they do see the value in keeping this one pretty heritage and, you know, really keeping that old school look that everyone loves. Because I think if they didn't do that, it would have killed the Bonneville, the T120, T100. It would have killed it dead. But the T120, so I actually jumped on it before just for some photo opportunities. And I'd been riding the bobber up to that point, up some very twisty and nadgery, beautiful American roads. And, you know, that's quite a workout and quite an experience, because you're hanging off like an absolute gibbon to try and avoid scraping the pegs. But then, you know, up the same road for the photo shoot or the photo stop, the tracking and stuff, I jumped straight on this and oh my gosh. I thought, why have I never really thought this bike was for me? I've never thought it was for me. I always thought it was a bit old-fashioned, a bit kind of fuddy-duddy. Oh man, how I was so wrong. And you know what, it's clearly not old-fashioned and fuddy-duddy, because flipping Motorbob in front, he has one. But one of the things that I really like about the T120 is it just handles so lovely. You know, it just feels graceful. The brakes are more than good enough for stopping you. And it's just a really enjoyable bike to ride. And, you know, granted, the bike's not going to be ridden probably by most people as we're riding today on these beautiful, smooth, dry Californian roads. But I would love to have this bike on like a bit of a turner, not even a turner, just for like a few weeks maybe, and just really just ride it in the UK and see what it's all about, you know, in like a different culture. You know, where we have terrible weather, we've got awful potholes. Yeah, there hasn't really been many major updates for the T100 and T120, other than really the inclusion of an IMU. You know, the T100 got the option of cruise control, but it did gain an extra mode. We got rain and road, whereas the T120 already had rain and road, but now we have the inclusion of just a push to start cruise control and push to knock off cruise control. I mean, so far I feel like it's super comfy. But it's just a nice practical machine. I feel like it could be you've only got one bike type job. This could be that bike. I feel like you could tour on this. I mean, heck, I know some absolute legends who I was on a tour with, a Canary Motorcycle Tour with. Tim Abberton, I'm pretty sure he's got one of these, and I don't know how old he is, and I wouldn't want to guess and offend him, but he's how do I say this? He's rather grey. Love you, Tim. And oh man, he was not riding that bike like you would expect it to be ridden. He was riding it hardcore, so shout out to Tim for that. But yeah, it just kind of opened my eyes a little bit that these bikes can be toured on. These bikes can go and do the Mali Mile on. You can do crazy stuff with them. You can just, they just kind of do it all, bikes. And one of the things that I really like, again, about kind of the whole Bonneville range is the fact that they're so low. I mean, I'm 5'4" with a 29-inch inside leg measurement, or 162 centimetres with a 73.66 centimetre inside leg. And honestly, it's just so confidence inspiring that you can just put a foot down. I just absolutely love that about these bikes. Super accessible. But also, like now, we're stuck behind a few cars. We're just cruising at 60 mile an hour. It's a beautiful riding position. You've got nice straight bars, the seat's dead comfy, the foot pegs are like a mid-control, so I feel dead relaxed in the saddle. And yeah, doing these kind of speeds, it's just lovely. It's a very elegant, very pretty bike. I absolutely love the look of the engines on all this range. I love the fact how they've really made the engine kind of look water cooled when it is in fact liquid cooled. And like even with the radiator on the front, how it kind of channels all the water from the cooling system all through the bike. How you've got the throttle bodies kind of disguised as a carb. There are just some really nice kind of nostalgic touches, and they have managed to really do the looks justice, I think. But like I said, this is my first time riding a T120 in my life, and I feel like whenever I've been getting loan bikes and press bikes from Triumph, I've always gone for like the Speed Triple 1200 RS, Street Triple 765 RS, or I don't know, the Rocket 3, just because of its absolute wildness and crazy claims of torque and stuff like that. I've never really thought, oh, the Bonneville T120 excites me, I'll go for that. This ride today has absolutely changed my mind on this bike. Absolutely changed my mind. It's lovely. It really is. You know, with this bike you don't get kind of, in my opinion, the exhaust struggles of some of the other machines. For example, with the Speedmaster, you run the risk of scraping them. With the bobber, I put my foot down to one side and it leant against the exhaust, and I was like, ah, because it was hot. And then you've got the scrambler, again, that's, you know, that's a high rise one that runs past your leg, and that does attract some heat. So yeah, I feel like the T100 and T120s definitely have like a normal amount. Don't want to get that wrong over there, would you? Oh no. No fancy, you know, overdone tech on these things like quick shifters and auto blippers. You know, you've got to do it all yourself with the clutch. The clutch on these is a little bit heavier than the T100, but not too troublesome, I wouldn't say. I also really like the fact that Triumph have thought about us with adjustable levers for people like me that have the hand span of a human child. And I say that with honest truth because my motocross gloves are a size medium youth. So I'm not telling porkies. So yeah, I'm gonna think real long and hard on the rest of this ride to think about what I really like and what I don't like about the bike, but I may actually be hard pressed to find some cons with this bike because I just think it's absolutely wonderful and charming. But I'll try my best, guys. I'll try my best, okay? Right, well, I'll catch you at my outro.
Right, so I am back in from riding the Bonneville T120, and what a day it has been. Do you know what? This bike, I did not expect to like it the way that I liked it. It's completely changed my perception on the bike. I just found it so delightful, so lovely, so charming, so effortless and easy to ride. Now on the screen I'm going to pop some pros and some cons. If I can think of any cons, I'm going to have to scratch my head real hard, but I will try my best to think of those. But yeah, it's just been an absolute delight to ride. Probably one of my favourite bikes from this whole trip to ride, and I was not expecting that. I thought it would be the bobber. And although I really did like the bobber, this has just got something a little bit special about it. Right guys, well if you have enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and I'll catch you on the next vlog. Bye!